What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock. And we have a special guest with us here tonight. We have Todd. I'll let you say your last name because I butcher it every time.
Wawrzycki.
Wawrzycki.
Take out the second W. Yeah.
All right. I could pronounce that now. Wawrzycki.
Just another Todd's fine since there's so many Todds that happen to play this game.
It's true. There's actually another Brock that's BROC I found out recently, which was pretty awesome. Brock Riblet. There's not too many of us, but he's actually the only other Brock BROC that I know.
Yeah.
And he happens to play this game.
So I saw a couple days ago that because we're comic book guys. I don't know about you, Todd.
Oh yeah.
That Neil Adams passed away.
Yeah, that was sad.
And I got to meet Neil. Actually, I got a thing here. You can see it, but that's his fairly famous picture that he did. But I got him to sign it, to Mike from Neil. But he was at the Toronto Comic Con, and he's literally just sitting there by himself. And he's just doing some commissions. And his commissions were like $200 a pop, and I didn't have that. And I just asked him for an autograph. He's like, well, I don't want to break my stride. He goes, you can come back in, half an hour when I finish this, or you can just stand here and talk to me. So I stood there and talked to him for like a half hour. And yeah, it was just me and him. No one interrupted us. It was pretty cool. So I got to have a conversation. And he told me all about how he hated that drawing for the Superman #1 because they made him change the leg.
Oh yeah.
So they could fit that little barcode box in that they used to, that UPC box.
Mm-hmm.
So it works around the leg. And then he just talked about when he made that big poster for Muhammad Ali versus Superman.
Yeah.
All the famous people they put in there. They put in a bunch and then they had to remove a bunch because of copyright laws, and some people didn't want them involved, and so it was an interesting talk. But yeah, the comic book world owes him a huge debt.
The stuff he did for creator rights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to be benefiting that for forever from here on out now, which is great.
Siegel and Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were getting, what would they sell Superman for? Like $100?
Yeah. And they were like 16 years old at the time they made that decision.
Yeah. So, they eventually got the money, and they went to court. I read the book on it like 4 or 5 times to keep getting money back, because DC was like, here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit. So now every creator, because of Neil, when you create something, you get the rights to it now.
Yeah, which is great.
So that was kind of sad for him. I've seen a bunch, of comic book guys go, but he's actually pretty influential. A lot of people don't even realize what he did for the comic book industry.
It was pretty old too. 86?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, in the 80s, I knew. But we'll get back to our wrestling here. Our 2 guys we're going to talk about are the Mad Jester and the Galactic Punisher. And our topic for this week is wrestlers we absolutely hate. Can't like them all.
It's true.
So you're our guest here, Todd. Let's open up with the Mad Jester.
Probably one of my favorite early characters. Did really well. He just couldn't string the victories together. He was a popular. He was kind of my 3rd level title. I had the heavy metal title. Always seemed to kind of gravitate around that. And then he kind of put down people that I tried to push. Maybe say a character that we're going to talk about later. But really good, fun character to play around with. I love doing the rhymes. That was like one of my favorite parts to do. I always incorporated that, kind of like the Genius before the Geniuses matches.
Did he hold a lot of belts for you, or just a heavy metal?
He's got 2 heavy metal reigns, and then he had 1 interplanetary. But the interplanetary was a little bit of a fluke. I think he got it, and I think he lost it right away. But he'd win 2, lose 1, and that kind of hurt him.
He was the exact opposite with me.
Win 1, lose 2.
No, he come in and he won his first 16 matches.
Wow.
He just could not lose. And he captured the Intergalaxian title after a few, because I use a point system. You got, when you're not losing, you get a lot of points. And he got ranked and he won. And I think he defended the title 6 or 7 times before he finally lost. So he ended up winning close to, now when he captured the title, he lost him by DQ, so it broke his streak. But he went along to roughly get about 20 plus wins in a row.
That's impressive.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you don't see that in this game.
No. And then I teamed him up with Bishop Hell, well, because I knew they were becoming, above the law. And I've talked about where I talked to Tom about that. I didn't like the name, and I went with Mad as Hell for Bishop Hell and Mad Jester. And as a tag team, they did really well for me. 3-time Intergalaxian tag champs and 3-time War Game tag champs. So they've done.
Cool.
I'll tell you what, though, that finisher, though, that Jagged Edge, if he hit it, for some reason, I don't think I remember anybody kicking out of that even with that card.
Yeah, it was a +3 finisher at the time, too, so it was good. And with him, it's weird because he had a 5-pin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But only 1 down.
Yeah. He had a good offense.
Yep. I liked him. He was a solid guy. I like I never, when I was I'd make him make the rhymes, but I would, I didn't make the rhymes out. I would just say, his, when he'd be on a show or something, I'd say, I would write in quotes, rhymes his speech. But I pictured him at Etrigan the Demon.
Nice.
From DC Comics, who did all the rhyming as well. That's who, in my head, I probably should have thought of Lenny Poffo, but instead I went to Etrigan the Demon, who rhymed everything.
It's kind of a weird mix of the Genius and the Joker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, he was always a secondary title kind of guy. I tried pushing him to the world title or the Galaxian title. He just couldn't get it done. But definitely one of my favorites. Everybody in that Royal Court I pushed like crazy. And he was probably my favorite next to Bishop Hell from that group.
Yeah, I still use him. I'm in 2105. He's gone through he's in his second iteration of the Mad Jester.
I just found something on the card if I can get it to. There's no 3 next to Pile Driver here.
Oh yeah. I have the same thing on my card. I think that was a misprint on those ones.
Yeah. Super collectible, I'm sure.
I got
Watching
an
the
error
software.
card.
Yes, an error print. Mad Jester. Probably used this card 200 times and didn't notice it until just now.
Yeah, but that Jagged Edge, what was it, a +3 with a DQ, something like that?
It's +2.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a +2 on the first one. I think it's +3 or 4 on the second one with a DQ.
Oh, okay.
But that second one was even pretty good because I think I had, was it Sudden Death with Jack of Diamonds? I thought it was over, and then Mad Jester literally won for 2 months straight, came all the way back, won that Sudden Death, and then almost went for the title and lost, I think, to Pegasus for me. But that's getting too far ahead.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah, he like I said, he was a solid. He was never once in contention for the heavyweight, but those secondary titles, he got title matches for. But he just once he had his initial run, that's when he went down, and he just couldn't get the single stuff again. So, like I said, 6 tag titles to his name, though. That's pretty decent.
It is. The Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for like feuds, he did pretty good. He beat the hell out of Mesmer.
Really? Because Mesmer was pretty tough that first card.
Yeah. And I actually had him feud Bishop Hell, but that's when he turned into Defender of the Realm. And he's lost his last few feuds to Santon. Yeah, I used Santon.
It's funny. I was looking back at my stuff, and I didn't realize I apparently had a really big feud with Adam Blast for me in my feud. In my fed, I didn't remember it.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you look back, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
He somehow lost to Billy Joe Boxer.
Billy Joe Boxer is the greatest wrestler of all time.
I didn't want to bring that up, but I think beat him in 2 moves, beat Billy Joe Boxer.
Rigged.
I have that wrote down on one of the cards.
He beats Mesmer 4 times in feuds, drew against Massive, beats Bishop Hell, but loses to Billy Joe Boxer.
Sounds about right. Did you ever have him team with Defender of the Realm?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
Or I didn't have him team with the other Mad Jester card and do a Killer Bees gimmick.
That would have been interesting.
Didn't it come out later that there were multiple Mad Jesters, though?
Yeah, because I think the second one goes crazy because he's a clone, I believe.
He became comedy, right?
Yeah.
From Theater of Pain.
Oh. So there's a backstory to Theater of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he gets one more card after that in CPC.
Yeah, he does. Really cool art on that one, too.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up real quick for everybody to see. Pretty creepy. I mean, we'll get here eventually, but it's topical.
Oh, okay. That's him. Okay.
Well, then I think he gets one more after that too.
Right? I think this is the clone.
Okay.
And he had the clone had a POW card too. Let me go back here.
Well, because I think he's Franco Gestarelli too, isn't
he? Yeah. The original one was.
Okay.
There he is. And here's the
that's a good drawing.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Hannibal King. No, that's Jeremy Sue, believe it or not.
Yeah, I would say that looks like Jeremy Sue.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's that.
Not bad. So now it's time for our upgrade power creep time. What would you do to improve him, Todd?
Well, I think I'm going to take everyone's answer and lower that pin maybe to even 7-4 or even 6-3, and I think he's a heavyweight contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the obvious glaring change that needs to happen there. I'm going to agree with you.
Yep. And I'll probably, make that unanimous. That 5 pin was tough. Drop it to a 3, and he's fighting for a world title.
Mm-hmm.
May not win it, but he's fighting for it.
Yeah, because I mean, Star Warrior hits his finisher. He's not kicking out of that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, Star Warrior, Thanatos, anybody with a +2 or higher finish.
Mm-hmm.
You need an 8 or higher. That's like a 70% chance to not kick out.
That's just on the first attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Mad Jester.
Next we can slide on into the Galactic Punisher.
There he is. Let me find his profile.
He reminded me of Brave Star.
He totally looks like Brave Star.
He's even got the same chest plate as Brave Star.
I didn't notice that until you just brought it up. Now I'm never going to think of him differently. There he is. Galactic Punisher. Listed at 6'2.5", 266 pounds.
I had him at 6'4", 267.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had him that tall, but I guess I could see that.
Yeah, to me, he just looks tall. Like, but I had him in blue because he's a cop.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because America, all the police became blue because they had so many leftover uniforms from the Civil War. That's where a lot of the police officers got their uniforms from.
Didn't know that.
Little American history from the Canadian. There you go.
I will hide my history degree right now. I'll turn it around here on the wall.
Yeah, so
I don't know about you guys, but Galactic Punisher just always seemed to fall just short every time. Like I remember building him up once, and then Mad Jester beat him, and then had to start back over, built it back up, lose again, and just.
what hurt him was that C ring.
Yeah.
Because in the first couple sets, that 10, 11, or 12 out of the ring was a automatic loss. Your pin didn't go up. It was pile driver on the concrete. Game over.
Automatic count out. No roll.
Yeah. He ate a lot of concrete back then.
He's a pretty solid card, though.
Yeah.
Other than the potential to get bumped back up to level 2 on his level 3 offense, his offense is stacked.
Yeah, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He won his first 6 feuds.
Wow.
And it's funny because I talked about this actually on the in week 24 when we were talking about ways we booked, and I ran a card where I called it Battle Bowl. So you have just random people teamed up, and he teamed up with Thanos, and they captured the GWF tag titles. And so Punisher only captured 2 titles for me. 1 GWF tag with Thanos, and the heavy metal title once because he couldn't get counted out.
Nice. I don't remember him winning any titles for me. I think I just couldn't get behind the character, so I didn't really push him that hard. But looking at his card, I'm like, he should have won a lot more than he did for me.
Yeah. What do you have? Like a -1 agility, -2 power?
-3 agility, -1 power.
Oh, okay.
So double negative there.
Double finisher.
Double finisher.
I think he had like a down out of the ring and a 2-pin.
6-3 pin.
Oh, 6-3?
6-3.
Yep, but 1 down with a leave. You're right there. So I don't know if you'd leave though with that C rating.
No. He could put you down 3 times on level 2. Like he didn't have any choice.
Yep,
It was
clean
down,
straight
down.
through. Yep, like Billy Joe Boxer.
So how did he do for you, Todd?
No titles. It's funny, like you guys are talking about him. Like I'm looking at the card, I'm like, how did he not win more?
Right? I just was realizing that
But
too.
I don't ever remember him. I don't ever remember him doing anything of note. Like I said, I remember building up a little bit, and then he would lose a match and go back down and just all over the place. But I don't know how with the card.
He's got all A's except for that C ring rating for his charts.
Yeah, this is a guy where you look at it like this dude should have dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And all 3 of us were like, no, he didn't. He did crap.
Yeah, because I want to say he came in, Bishop Hell got him, and then Mad Jester pretty much prevented him from ever getting the heavy metal title.
He beat Bishop Hell his first 2 years, and then he beat Kraken, and then he fought Rogue 3 times for the Keepers of the Stone when it was FDF versus the Citadel. And then he drew against Carnage. And then he beat Dragon Master, and the first time he lost was to Lord Nexus, but that's when he became Vigilante.
He did a lot better when he became Vigilante.
Yeah, as Vigilante, he's 8-time GWF tag champ. So
Yeah. I need to reboot my Fed just so I can give Galactic Punisher his just due.
no kidding. I'm looking at that. I'm like, I feel so bad. This guy should have won so much more.
Yeah.
Just because I was a dumb kid and didn't understand how cool he was.
If they ever do the reimagined, like Todd Wawrzycki, if they do a reimagined, put a B ring.
Yeah. I think his reimagined card already came out. I don't have it nearby though.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can try and pull up that art while you guys are talking. I can find it.
Yeah, he was like, as that he should have been so much tougher. Like I liked the Galactic Punisher character. He did a lot for me. He was like the muscle. He was the number 2 guy. Star Warrior got all the glory. So I never sent him for the heavyweight title because Star Warrior was the guy. So he went after the Intergalaxian and the TV, but he just couldn't win because a lot of those guys. I don't like that.
He's in blue though.
He looks a lot younger in that picture too.
Yeah,
He does. Looks a little like Arnold Schwarzenegger too.
Sorry, Warner, when I said I didn't like it, but yeah, I doubt Warner watches this, so we're okay.
He might. He probably hurt his feelings.
I know it's weird too because his card looks stacked, but he kind of almost has that Hacksaw Jim Duggan vibe where he's like the gatekeeper to Hogan, where like you beat Galactic Punisher to get to Star Warrior kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, if I ever did the only way I said I'm going to restart my Fed is if I do it online. So I'd have to buy all that. But if I did that, yeah, I'd have to find a way to give him a push.
Yeah.
Because his card is much better. You look at it and you're like, yeah, he should have done a whole lot more.
Yeah, I agree. We got to restart our Feds.
Yeah.
It's the only fair thing to do.
I don't know if I want to restart a 4th time.
Well, Todd, you have a Fed that goes all the way back to the 1940s, correct?
Yeah, so what I did is I incorporated legends, and I kind of broke those up into sets. So whenever they come out with a new set, I kind of arrange it so it's a kind of mimics like a GWF set.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done, 1947 to like 2010 in Legends, and then I actually caught up on Champions actually, thanks to COVID,
Nice.
I guess. So I guess there was one bright side to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we had talked about that on one of our shows, starting off in like the 1900s, with like Frank Gotch,
I just like
and working your way up bit by bit and seeing who retires and who comes in and when, and put their cards around that.
I like title belts, so I like to have the lineage of it and stuff like that, and keeping the records of the titles.
Because yeah, we talked about that one.
And I know you talk about win-loss record. I got to go back and do that sometime.
Oh yeah, all my win-loss records. Like, actually, I haven't.
My
Titles
stats are
I have
horrible.
win-loss, not so much yet.
Yeah, I have them. I can actually find them. Where did I do it? Oh, they're right behind the computer. Go through my. So as let's see, where's.
We've got our 2-minute warning.
Yep. Oh, so Vigilante. He's 4 wins by DQ, 34 by pin. Only 2 countout losses though, so he didn't get a lot of countout losses for me. 1 DQ, 21 wins by or losses by pin, but it's his what's he here? They have Soldier of Fortune and Vigilante have 96 wins and 32 losses.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. And Mad Jester's 60 and 51.
That's WWE booking there.
Yeah. So we all kind of pretty much know what we're going to fix on this one as well.
Mm-hmm. going to be unanimous, I think. I don't want to speak for anybody, but
I'm going to make one slight change to it, but it's going to be something very similar, I think.
okay. Okay.
I was going to go get rid of that C ring.
Me as well, even if it's just a B.
So the one thought I had is you have the choice on death jump. Why don't you move the choice to out of the ring? And then that way you'd roll up if you wanted to on out of the ring. Because he's got an A death jump. What, right now the death jump has the choice. The out of the ring doesn't have the choice. I'd flip those maybe.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. See, back then when this was played, though, there was no roll up. You just, the choice is you roll it or you re-roll.
Yeah, I'd re-roll though too.
Yeah.
Especially on that level 3. 2 finishers, you got a good chance.
Mhm.
But you had a lot of guys with dual out of the rings back then.
You did.
Mutant, Comrade Terror, or you could even give him an early tag finisher like he had now with Vigilante.
Yeah.
Him and Star Wars could have been the new gamekeepers.
Bishop Hell didn't even have an out of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're feuding a guy.
That should work in his benefit then. His main weakness is ignored.
Yeah, you
He
just
still
don't
didn't
need-
win.
Yeah, I still don't win.
Can't help you, Galactic Punisher.
That's probably why he beat Bishop Hell in my feuds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, so we'll swing into which wrestlers we hated. I have a list.
I don't have too many that I hated, but there's some that I didn't like. Most people know that I'm not a Wolf fan.
No.
That was where I was going to start.
Wolf,
Yeah.
Wolf pretty much tops my hated list.
Mine too.
Yep. I was gonna put him 1, I think.
He's much to the chagrin of Jim Steele.
Poor Jim Steele.
Jim Steele. He just turned this video off.
Yeah, he already did. As soon as he saw me, he's like, nope, not again.
They're gonna make fun of Wolf.
As soon as he heard the topic, he's like, nope, I'm out.
Wolf's hated. Well, we know where this is going.
I don't know. The weirdest thing for me was like he was never a number 1 guy. He was always a good number 2. Like I made him I turned him to help the gladiators out, and then he could never beat Star Warrior Thanatos when that title was on the line. But the IP title, he always could get that one. Seemed like a good number 2 or henchman.
He's definitely a number 2.
Oh, for Wolf?
Yeah.
He was good for me. Captured a bunch of heavyweight. I listed him off the one time. Probably captured 12 singles titles. He was good.
He did pretty good for me
I just don't
too.
like the fact that. Excuse me. I think what bothers me about him is all the anti-men get downgraded, but him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He should have a shelf life, and he doesn't. So when I retire him, he's going to be retired. There's going to be no Wolf coming back, and
he's coming back. Coming back better than ever.
Yeah.
See, the thing with Wolf is I think he is GWF Wolverine. Like he ages the same way. He's going to live to be 300 years old and still be in his prime. That's how I feel about him, at least, because he should be well over 100 by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like when did he popped up in 2086, right?
Well, he was there.
Yeah.
Before,
As his first card, at least.
Well, when was the first Classics? Because he was in the Classics.
He was in 2086, I think.
And that's the first Classics?
No, there's classics that go back earlier than that, but I don't think he had a card.
He's in that.
Is that his official debut?
He's in 2079.
I think he's mentioned in one of the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in 2079 because he's got the Bendis did the artwork because he didn't give him pupils.
That's my favorite Wolf drawing, though. By the way, it was 2086. The Bendis art. Let me
Was
pull
it?
it up so everyone knows what we're talking about. Here he is.
For some reason, I thought he was mentioned in one of the other books, though.
He probably was.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, no pupils. So that's 2086
Mm-hmm.
when he's with the gladiators.
Yeah. Does it say in his little bio here when he debuted? He entered in 2085 as a member of the Gladiators.
185, there it is.
So
So say he's
20 will be
mid 20s.
mid 20s.
Say he's 25.
Mid 20.
So he'd be 80, around 80 then.
And he's the only Animan to age slow.
He's a wolf. Shouldn't he age 7 times faster?
Yeah.
In dog years, Wolf is 582 years old.
Another one I hated, Fury.
What about the guardsman or whatever his name
I
was?
like the guardsman. I actually like that. But Fury, didn't like Fury. Didn't like Doomsayer.
Yeah, I wasn't a Doomsayer fan either. Trying to think of some other ones I didn't like. I wasn't a Genghis Khan fan.
So he was kind of like the lovable loser for me.
Yeah, he had his place for sure.
Yeah.
Like there weren't too many guys who I just went, I have to wrestle with them. And then as soon as I could retire them, I'm writing them out of the story.
Well, I have one of those in the current storyline that I actually just wrote out of my fed because I just know I never got behind the Aether Overmaster. And I know you're not there yet, Mike, but that's someone I just never really liked.
Yeah, I wish he had a name.
Yeah.
Like I'm not big on vengeance much. And I've tried to push him different ways and like I don't hate him, but he's borderline getting there.
See, it's just so weird how like different feds turn out too. Like Vengeance like crushed it in this version of this current reboot that I did. Like he like led the Gladiators forever. And I actually liked Vengeance, but he doesn't really fit the team, so to speak. Like, did you say in one episode that you had him turn against the Gladiators, or they kicked him out?
Well, yeah, they kicked him out because he was too violent, and so what I did is I wanted to take him because I just didn't like him, so that was my way of just getting rid of him. And then I'm like, hey, I needed another Gladiator, so I'm like, okay, I'll bring him back and give him another run. And so that's what I'm doing right now with him. And he actually did. I have a massive tournament at the end of every year. It's called the Grand Championship, and he made it all the way to the finals against Janus. And Vengeance beat Chaos in the tournament. I'm like, holy crap. So, he's now pushed. Yeah. So he got enough points where he's fighting for the heavyweight title now. And so that might have been a turning point for him. I'll see how he does. But it annoys me too when guys are so good and they don't do anything. And I'm like, after a while, you just kind of not want to use them because it's, just kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
So to play off that is exactly what I was going to say with Chaos for me. Chaos was always built up. Like, I felt like he was going to come in and just be unstoppable, and he'd win the title and lose in the first defense. I don't think he has more than 2 defenses with a title. He's the Sasha Banks of my fed.
No, and well, like I said, I Fury, Doomsayer. I don't think Doomsayer did anything.
Mm-hmm.
When he looked like Mongol from Superman villains.
Did.
I
don't
don't,
know
I
if
don't think he did.
For all the
anything.
people that went through the Trans Evolver, I don't think any of them really were great. Like I liked Cosmic Forces, but I don't remember liking Ninth Degree or Monet that much.
Yeah, like I said, when it comes to wrestlers, I just hated. Sometimes though, like I hated Pharaoh Ketty, even though we share the same last name, just different spellings. I didn't like him until I moved feds with him. So I hated
Coat
him,
of paint.
and then he got a whole kind of new lease on life. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of liking this guy. He became Gemini. He's had different iterations, and I think also Tom just got annoyed with him as well too. Like, I don't like him because I know I've talked to Tom one time, and he hated Vlad Hammer. He's like, I got to do something with him. He goes, this guy not good, and he became Hammer, and yeah, I pushed Vlad Hammer because he was an amateur wrestler, and I loved, I was an amateur wrestler, and I'm like, yeah, I got one in the game. Oh, he sucks so bad. You wanted Kurt Angle, and you got Brian, and you got a jobber instead. Like, oh, that was a disappointing.
That's kind of that problem too. Running the big fed, you can't really move people around. And sometimes the smaller feds or territories, you can send somebody else, like move them to another territory, repackage them, and they come out so much better.
Mhm.
That's why I run the 3 feds. So the weaker guys don't get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
So they're in my bottom tier fed. I think Todd might have froze.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there he is. He's moving again. Okay.
Oh, did I?
Uh-oh.
It's so weird. I'm not using any internet, and usually it's so much faster.
It's because of Canada.
Blame
Oh.
We're used to it. Manning blames me for everything.
Whoever that is.
Probably because we're talking about wolves, so Jim kind of hacked my internet.
Yep. It was Jim for sure.
So yeah, we have, like I said, when it comes to hated, I'm only in 2105, but yeah, there are a few guys who are, Defender of the Realm was another guy. Like I loved Mad Jester, and he switched to Defender.
Mhm.
I could not wait to get rid of Defender and bring him back to Mad Jester.
Yeah, Mad Jester is so much cooler.
That reminded me of King Lear. King Lear was someone that I liked Exo King so much better.
Yeah. But King Lear, I didn't mind because I did a good heel turn with him. So, I mean, a face turn. So I was, I was expecting that. I missed Exo King because Exo King was probably one of the top 2 or 3 bad guys in the first set. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
He had a solid card. But with Defender, I went from you went from an awesome character to somebody you didn't like. It was like the Norse Gods. I like the Norse Gods. They were a great mid-level opening tag team for me, and then they switched to what was it, Masters of Illusion, which sucked so bad.
Yeah.
And Lightning was awesome, and then Frenzy. Yeah, the drawings were kind of cool, but there was such a huge downgrade on them that I just like, nope. And then I think it forced me to retire.
That was a steep drop.
Pardon?
That was a steep drop too for that.
Yeah. Yeah, they went from a mid to low level team just to a low level team.
Yeah.
But they were having fun.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that really matters.
Yep. Yeah, those were the guys I think where I had enough and just wrote them out early. And I switched up. I think I brought it in even a year early for when he becomes Cycle Hog. just to drop them, just so I could bring in Psycho Hog a year early, just to get rid of the team. I just did not like Psycho and Frenzy.
Mm. You probably can't use those names anymore either.
Psycho and
Hog?
Frenzy.
Psycho and Frenzy
Oh.
to describe like mental health patients.
Well, it's wrestling.
That's true.
There's a lot of you know,
Yeah.
And it was the late 80s, early 90s. That stuff was a little different then.
yeah, like I said, we've talked
What is
about
it? The OSW. The OSW theme is that it was acceptable in the 80s. I don't know if you guys watch OSW on YouTube.
No, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a couple Irish guys that watch old school 80s wrestling pay-per-views and then kind of review them as they watch them. And that's in the lyrics that it's okay because it was the 80s or acceptable in the 80s to do some stuff.
You watched
true, though.
now, I'm 50, so I, when WrestleMania 1 came around, I think I was in grade 6, and I watched. I had the Roddy Piper box set, so I watched it, and they're showing all the old interviews with getting ready for WrestleMania 1. So racist. Like Paul Orndorff's in the background talking about Mr. T making monkey noises and throwing bananas. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that wouldn't pass today.
Nope. It probably shouldn't have then either. Like, I think we were beyond that in the 80s, I thought, but
And
guess
then
not.
I remember watching.
Yeah, I probably should have.
I remember watching an Ole and Arn when they were just starting out together, and they were taking on Big Red and Brickhouse Brown. And Ole goes, "Listen, where I come from, we don't even talk to your kind, let alone wrestle your kind." And I'm
Wow.
like, "What?"
Wow.
And you can find that on YouTube. And I'm like, "Hey, hold
Wow.
on, they're from Minnesota."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm so glad we've evolved beyond that.
So yeah,
Man, and just remember all the stuff with Adrian Adonis too. The fans would chant. That wouldn't get away nowadays.
No. The 80s. I'm glad we have progressed as a society since all that.
Oh yeah, like I said, we talked about this earlier. Now Brock and myself both thought Killer Queen was gay. I don't know about you.
So I actually had him and Exo King together.
Oh, you had him as
my last one.
As a couple?
Yep.
Oh.
So they actually were a pretty good tag team for me.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's why Mad Jester was in singles for so long. Because I needed singles part of the group.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I thought it was something different this time.
Yeah, we were talking where we thought it was progressive of Tom to have like an openly gay character in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never repeated it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tom ever saw him as that either, though.
No.
Yeah,
Tom
no.
probably didn't, but the people in the game did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing about the game. We take little shots at it. Like if it's a black character, it's from one of two places:
Canada,
Earth, yeah, or Titan.
Yeah.
It's the only places in the world that have black people.
In the galaxy.
Yeah, in the galaxy, in this game. They're from Montreal or they're from Titan. That is it. That's the only place you can find black people in the galaxy in the future. It's just kind of odd, and how all the aliens are Caucasian.
Yes.
Yeah, or humanoid.
Yes.
Like I have Thantos. He's in my mind, he's gray. He's gray skinned. Because why not? Everybody doesn't have to be, Caucasian. You don't gotta be white. But somehow everyone is.
Well, who was it? I thought someone mentioned on the boards or in another podcast where Omega's Native American, and then all of a sudden Star Warrior's not. Bloodline a little bit is, but it seems like it died out after Omega. The whole Native American traits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just a gimmick. Tom was a big fan of, the early, 60s and 70s wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had Wahoo and Chief J Strongbow and all these guys back then. I think that was just paying homage to them.
Yeah, I think so. But he definitely looks a different race than his son.
Yeah.
Especially his new card, that Galacticon giveaway from last year. That card is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to plug it again.
When is Omega going to realize that his sons look more and more like the Milkman every single day? But we should probably sign out here.
Yeah. Thank you, Todd, for joining us.
Yeah, it was fun.
We'll have to have you back sometime.
Got to at least look at Galactic Punisher again.
Yeah, I think we all agree that we did not do Galactic Punisher justice.
No.
We all messed up Galactic Punisher, and we need to start our feds over again.
just for that reason.
Yes. So if you too need to restart your fed because you didn't pay the proper respects to Galactic Punisher, click that like button and subscribe. And check out all our friends who are doing Filsinger Games related media. You can find all the links below Todd. And you can go to the Roll Up podcast, the Uncharted Territories podcast, Dizzy Dice, and we have some YouTube links down there for Dave Little, and under further review is there, and Grant's YouTube links and podcast links are there. Check those out. All good stuff. And yeah, so give them a like, subscribe to them, listen, enjoy the shows, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, that's all I was going to pop in. That's one thing I've seen on the board is a lot of people are now restarting their feds because we keep talking about the old stuff. People have actually restarted and rebooted their feds.
Nice.
Because we're like, yeah, we got to do it, and people are redoing it. Thomas Keeney did it.
I saw that. He
This is really good.
Yeah, he runs a good fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great that we're so influential. But yeah, we don't do anything. We talk about ourselves.
We don't do it, but other people are. So thank you.
Yeah.
And next week we're gonna have on some members of the Uncharted Territories, along with another guest, and we're gonna be finally delving into the Legends of Wrestling.
All right.
And the AWA wrestlers.
Well, I'm bringing up the football match between Mean Mike Enos and the Trooper. If you haven't yet, check that out on YouTube.
I have not seen that.
I'll describe it real quick since, why not? But the football match is, it's the two guys, they have a football, and you have to run the football into a hockey net.
What?
Real.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this.
Yep.
The hockey playoffs start tonight.
It's wrestling. It's fine.
Yeah.
1 month from now when this airs, who knows?
1 month from now, Mike and I's teams will both be eliminated. Actually, it's gonna be over by then anyway. So eliminated or not, it'll be over.
Feel better. My team was eliminated before the playoffs started.
That's fair.
That's 11 straight years of Buffalo not being in the playoffs.
How many straight years have the Penguins made the playoffs?
11.
More than 11.
I think it's like 14 or 15, I think, this year.
Yeah, both our teams have won the cup in the last decade.
We should have. There was a no goal.
That is true.
I will admit, I watched it. Yeah, Paul's foot was in the crease. Couldn't have been there.
It is true. It is true.
Yep.
And on that bitter note,
Good night.
we'll wrap this up.
Good night.